it pops out. It's voodoo magic. It's so crazy. So we are replacing our old standard stainless steel cable lifelines with Dyneema. We are going to, or I should say I am going to learn how to splice in order to do this, so that should be fun. And then we are going to put an eye on either end of the rope, and then we're going to like loop it in on itself, the bow, and then we're going to lash it at the back, so that way as it stretches, which it will just a little bit, we'll be able to keep tightening it up. It's been pretty interesting not having lifelines for the last couple weeks, so we're pretty excited to have a place to kind of hang wet towels and that kind of stuff again. So hopefully I can finish this up tonight. So I've watched a few YouTube videos, so I think I'm now an expert. We're gonna use, I think it's a Brummel locking stitch, locking splice, not stitch, locking splice. I have my fid, I have permanent marker, I have measuring tape, I have a pair of scissors. Apparently that is all I need, so hopefully we're good to go. So a couple different things from a couple different sources. Some of them say to measure in fid lengths, which I'm not gonna do. Somebody said to do it in 72 times the rope diameter, and somebody said 50. So I'm gonna go with 72 because that's the most, and that's what it's going, how much you're going to bury inside. So I'm going to do 72 times a quarter inch. 72 times 0.25 is 18 inches. So 18 inches down, and I'm going to mark. So we're going to measure 18 inches. And then you just make your loop about what you want. And Andy says 2 inches, so I'm gonna mark about 2 inches there. And that's where my first hole is gonna be. And then I am going to go back to my YouTube video and watch again because that's what we're gonna do. I will link the one I'm watching up here somewhere. Push the splicing needle through the middle of the part that's attached to the long side. Okay. Pull through. I pull this through, and I go through it this way.
Yep.
Because I'm watching him from the opposite direction. And pull the long end through. I can't pull the long end through. I don't have it. I'm not pulling 67 feet through. I can.
Let's try it one way, this way, and we'll try it the other way, the regular way. You can see which one's better.
Okay. Look at that. It's like locked in there. Like I Okay, so now
You start tapering.
Now, well, you pull it through first and then you taper it. So you go, I remember this part. So right behind it in here. I feel like there's a lot of jokes to be made while doing this. Inappropriate jokes. So then taper the core. So you pull out like one, and then you pull out like two. I don't know if I'm doing this exactly right, but I also know that essentially this is aesthetic unless we need this for like rigging, and we're not using it for rigging, so I'm not really going to be too worried. I made a splice. Like, it's not the prettiest thing in the entire world. But for a first attempt, I'm thinking that's pretty good. It was so much easier than I thought it was gonna be. So now I'm just gonna do that times 3 more. So we couldn't use that same splicing technique for all 4 ends because now in order for us to measure we had to attach on one end. So rather than undo all of this, a couple days ago when I first started watching splicing videos, I came across one by the rigging doctor that explained how to do it without having to run your long end through your line. So I'm going to do that one now and then we should be all set to go. This big one. Trying to make sure I have 6 on either side because this is 12 strand, and then I'm just gonna pull that through, which is super easy. I'm gonna pull it through until my black comes out on the other end, so my other line, and then I am going to take a second fid and I'm just gonna open this hole up real big. So I'm gonna run it down until the ends, the flatter ends are together. And I'm just gonna like make this a much bigger hole. I'm going to thread this line through it and I want it to go the same way. So I'm gonna have it go down this way so it kind of makes like a little 2 little loop-de-loops. And I'm gonna pull it all the way through so that I get this little extra curve, and then I'm gonna make that hole a little bit bigger again, and then I'm gonna feed my loop through and I'm going to pull until it pops out. It's voodoo magic. It's so crazy. And then you just pull it and it does exactly the same thing, and I think this way actually looks neater than the other version. So I'm just gonna bury this line and then we are gonna lash these ends to the eyes at the end. The tiniest little balloon ever. It's gonna go through there and then back through back there. And he's been the queen of making he's been the king of making knots today, so this could take forever.
I'm gonna go back and forth probably like 4 or 5 times.
And how do you end it?
Just half hitches.
Half hitches. These are super awesome. They were insanely easy to install and the splice for them was super easy as well. This is exactly what we needed right now in terms of a win for a project. And we have time to make dinner and do something else, so highly recommend. And it was about $60 in materials.
Versus the quote I got was like 300, something like that.
Yeah, so huge saving, and they're white.
Yeah.
So very excited with how these came out. We'll see you next week.